Tulpo,
Hindi, huwag kayong iiling-iling.
yeah,
No, I don't like that. Huwag kang iiling-iling. Para bang pinagtatawanan mo kami rito. Don't
that
do
is
that.
true. Yeah.
Don't ever do that, please. You're being disrespectful. Para bang, don't do that. Baka gusto mo, ikaw ang tatanong-tanong, didiinin ko rito. No, I'm not. I'm serious. This is a serious matter. We're talking about kapakanan ng mga farmers dito, and yet tatawa-tawa ka pa. Don't. Pati wala namang pinag-usapan dito, and you're still laughing. Hindi na masagot-sagot ng mga kasama mo, and you're still laughing. Don't do that, Yusek Sumbilla. $40,000 bags po na nalo sa bidding itong Universal Harvester. 40. Yes. And yet, ang na-deliver lang ay 1,300 bags.
Fertilizer is National Rights Program. Kanino sinupply? Kanino sinupply? Lahat sila namili ng fertilizer.
Nasa listahan po ito ng Internal Audit Service. Kaya nga hinahanap ko kasi itong record na ito, nakuha ko ito sa Internal Audit Service. Ito pang matindi. Nagpa-extend siya. So dapat, kinansila na yung kanyang kontrata at pinasa na sa next lowest bidder. Adding insult to injury, the following year, nagkaroon ulit ng second bidding, Universal Harvester na naman. Napakalakas naman itong si Universal Harvester. Alam to ng mga taga-DA. Sir, tumatawa kayo, Yusek Sebastian, baka meron alam ka rito. Hindi mo alam? Eh, dapat alam mo, ikaw yung Yusek eh. Paulit-ulit na lang, palaging lumulutang itong Universal Harvester. Region 3, Region 9, Region 4A, Universal Harvester. Ang palagi pumapaya, and yet, paulit-ulit, nananalo sa bidding. At pinapasali pa rin sa bidding. Dapat, blacklisted na ito. What's going on? Can anybody answer me?
From our COMSEC, they said they invited Director Christopher Banyas, Director Internal Audit Service of DA, but did not show up. Wala. Director Christopher Banyas, kilala niyo siya? Universal Harvester sa computer ko
Nung sa Region 9, walang nangyari na bidding para sa worth 230 million pesos contract for the purchase of fertilizers. Ang ginamit lang ay purchase order. Na alam naman ninyo, bawal. Dapat bidding. We're talking of 230 million. Dapat may makasuhan dito ng plunder. Madam Chair, kailangan maimbestigahan to ng malaliman.
Sino ba nagbibid ng fertilizer? Alam ko, pinakamalaking regions. So, for whom? For whom? The National Rice Program or to any other program?
This is the national right.
Palaging region, miski National Rice Program, region. O, sinong region? Sino? Region 9.
Ganito kasing proseso na.
Tawagin yung director ng Region 9. Magpakilala ka, iho, kung sino ka.
Good afternoon po. Ray Campomanes from DA Region 9.
OIC red.
So,
Sabi ni Senator Tulfo, award daw kayo sa Universal Harvester ng 230 million worth of fertilizer without bidding. You issued a purchase order.
No, meron pong public bidding siya, Senator.
meron?
Meron po.
At bakit ang harvester ang nanalo kung meron?
Meron silang, at the time when that was bidded out, I think there are, because I was not yet the director at that time, there are 3 bidders who participated, and the lowest bidder is Universal Harvester po.
And what's your name?
Ray Campomanes po.
Ray Campomanes.
Reynaldo Campomanes po.
Mr. Reynaldo Campomanes, pumalpak na itong harvester, paulit-ulit, dapat blacklisted na. Bakit niyo pa rin pinapasama ito sa bidding process? Bakit niyo pinapayagang sumali pa rin ito? Alam mo yung proseso, di ba? Kapag ikaw ay nanalo sa bid, dapat nandiyan na yung mga fertilizer sa warehouse. In fact, merong mga taga-DA na gustong inspect yung warehouse para to make sure na nandiyan yung mga fertilizer. Ang nangyari, ayaw niya kayong papasukin. Ayaw papasukin yung mga taga-DA to inspect. Dapat yun, pag nanalo sa bidding, meron na notice to proceed, agad-agad may di-deliver na yung mga fertilizer at mababayaran siya. What happened here is, wala pa pala siya mga fertilizer sa warehouse niya. I-order pa lang niya. So, ang nangyari, nung nanalo sa bidding, pupunta sana mga taga dito, inspect the warehouse, hinaharang niya. And then what happens next? Humingi siya ng extension. Hanggang sa later on, nag-buy time siya, saka palang paparating kanya mga fertilizer. 230 million. Tama? Nanalo siya sa bidding. Are you sure? Can you show us documents pertaining to that? And then my next question is, alam nyo naman na paulit-ulit na ito pumapalpak itong universal na ito, dapat blacklisted na ito, and yet, palagi pa rin siyang sumasali at nananalo. God damn.
Sir, hindi ko po alam yung nangyari sa ibang region. Doon po sa amin.
No? Alam mo. Kasi bago ka, ikaw naman, niloloko mo naman kami iho. Sorry, I'll call you iho kasi ginagawa mo kaming tanga, parang bata. Hindi naman kami mga bata rito. Ikaw siguro ang bata. Bata, you were just born yesterday. You have to do due diligence. Sa lahat ng sasali sa bidding, gumagawa kayo ng cross-matching. Nagtatanong kayo. Tumatawag kayo sa mga ibang region. Sino bang supplier nyo dito? Sino bang nanalo? Ano bang record nito sumasali sa amin? As simple as that. Nag-check kayo. Gumagawa ka ng research. Sino ba itong harvester na ito? 230 million ang sasalihan niyang bidding. Then, ang pinag-usapan natin by the hundreds of millions, dapat sobrang ingat kayo.
Senator Tulfo, from the Universal Harvester, the owner is Dr. Milagros Ong Hao, founded in 2003, based in Quezon City, agricultural product wholesaler. Here.
Sir, di ako naniniwala na hindi nyo alam. Especially kung malaking amount ang pinag-uusapan, the least you could have done is make some inquiry sa iba't ibang region, do some research about this company kung may kakayahan ba talaga sila na panindigan yung kontrata na pinanunulan nila. And you didn't do that. Pikit mata, pinasali nyo sila. Maybe you don't know, or maybe you know, na ito ay dapat blacklisted na. Bakit, sir?
Senator, bago pa lang po ako nakapasok sa DA, this transaction took place with my predecessor, kaya hindi po
2020.
masyadong
So, sino yung predecessor mo?
si Director Dennis po.
Is he still here? Is still with DA? Pwede natin
Andyan.
patawag? Ang sa akin lang kasi dito, Madam Chair, dapat itong harvester na ito, itong Universal Harvester, dapat to blacklisted na. And yet, from Region 9, Region 3, Region 4A, siya palagi namamayagpag, siya palagi ang nananalo.
Dennis here. Kasi hindi naman yata siya retired. Bata pa naman. Dennis. 4A siya. 4A.
4A.
School yung Region 4A. Siya ba yung nangyari ko?
Madam Chair, habang hinahanap po, with the permission of Senator Tulfo,
Yes.
tatanong ko lang ho, I guess sa central office, ano ho ba yung polisiya nyo pagdating sa pagba-blacklisting? Hindi ho ba dapat ho ba can the regional offices decide already, or dapat ho ba galing sa central office na parang, ito na yung mga listahan ng mga kumpanya na wag nyo nang i-entertain sa bidding?
Well, the regional directors are automatically in charge of the respective regions.
Have what you call, di ba minsan yung dinedelegate mo a certain amount but beyond that you go up. So ano yung amount na they can decide?
In as far as
Threshold.
the Department of Agriculture is concerned, there's no limit to.
What a regional director can do? Is that
I have released that directly to the regions and let them be responsible. But on the question of Senator Tulpo,
Oh,
since I came in August of 2022, I don't know about that allegation, but I'm assuring you, we shall do something about it. This is the only time that I learned about this anomaly. I'll attend to that.
where is
That's
the regional director of 4A? Ayan na. Saan ang regional director ng 4A?
Ma'am, actually, our director is currently on sick leave po, kaya hindi siya naka-attend dito. But I'm Ella Obligado po, PMED Chief of Region 4A. And according po dun sa aming pagtatanong sa aming mga kasama, ang Universal Harvester po ay hindi na po namin, supplier po namin siya dati noong 2018, but currently po wala po siyang sinusupply sa amin na fertilizer.
2022 po, sumali siya sa bidding.
Ang pagkakaalam po according to our rice program coordinator, 2018 pa po yung last na supply nila sa
Hindi po. Magpakita po kayo ng dokumento to prove na nung 2018 pa blacklisted na sila. O 2022 na hindi na sila sumali. You show us those documents na sino yung nag-provide ng mga fertilizer na nalo sa bidding noong 2021 up to 2022. Kasi may record ang internal audit service na sumasali pa ito ng bidding as far back as 2022. As late as 2022.
Noted.
Report nyo.
Yes, ma'am. Okay po. Noted po, sir. We will
Okay.
provide po.
Siguro next time mag-show up, magpakita yung taga-internal audit service.
Okay.
And then ako din siguro magpapakita ng dokumento sa inyo next time. Kasi ito mabilisan lang ito nakuha kong information na to eh. Now, composting. Binibigay ito sa mga taga-LGU, may budget na 500 million. Okay, or more. Ito po ay binibigay sa LGU. Tama?
Senator, yung composting either sa LGU or sa co-op
Oh.
or to any any association, kasi ang isang composter can service 1,000 households. So it should be a group of people
Tama.
that will do it.
And how much is a composting machine? Do we
800,000 po.
800,000. So, ano ho ba ang pag-purchase, procure ng composting machine? Is it
Bureau of Soil and Water
Director,
Management.
Director Nilo.
Balik ka dito. Ayan na.
Magandang hapon po, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Senator Tulpo. Dr. Gina Nilo po from the Bureau of Soils and Water Management. So we have a program po on composting and so the question is about how do we...
Just na po itong composting program, ano po? Am I right? 8 years na.
Yes, about
Right.
8 years
Okay.
po.
And in this
17.
Programa to, it's just funds. Because of the high cost of fertilizer.
Yes, ma'am.
And you can produce fertilizer out of kitchen and garden waste. So I thought
Yes.
that this will enable the farmer to produce their own fertilizer, provided they are given the composting machine. So you were given a budget of 1 billion in 3 years
2020.
ago,
Yes, ma'am.
2021, and then 3 billion last year, this 2023.
Yes po, Ma'am.
And then now I have asked the National Rice Program to give you a budget of 2 billion because I want every town in the Philippines to have a composter.
Yes.
They can produce their own fertilizer.
Yes, thank you. Thank you po, Madam
My
Chair.
question to you now, anong pangalan niyo po, ma'am?
Gina Nilo po, Dr. Gina Nilo.
Dr. Gina, ilan po ang composting machine na ngayon na
For 20
na-secure ng DA?
yes sir, for 2022 po we have about 1,000 composting machine, and for this 2023 it's about 3,200 composting machine.
Lahat-lahat po ilan na?
So it's
Give or take,
it's more than 4,000 composting machine. CFBW po ang tawag namin doon.
Okay, good. Saan po ito na-distribute at sino po yung mga nakatanggap nito?
Okay,
Ano
so
po mga lugar?
thank you very much po. So these are distributed all over the country po, and meron po tayong qualification for the beneficiaries. So meron po tayong mga farmers association, meron din po tayong mga local government units, at and if this is for example, for the rice program, we give priorities to beneficiaries that are engaged in rice farming so that it will support the compost requirement or organic fertilizer requirement of our rice farmers. Similarly, kasama rin po dito yung ating mga organic agriculture program, corn program, high value program, because this is our way to promote adaptive balance fertilization strategy. This is our response to rising costs of fertilizer, because the idea here is to combine the use of compost or organic fertilizer with inorganic fertilizer. In so doing, we also sustain the fertility of our soils, because the use of compost will increase the nutrient holding capacity of our soil as well as water holding capacity. So this is also our way to adapt to climate change. Thank you po.
I agree
Mr.
with you.
Chair.
Now, ang second question ko po sa inyo, Doktora, ay gumanda ba ang yield ng harvest since nagkaroon itong composting program at nakapaggastos na tayo ng bilyones? At ano-ano po yung lugar na nag-benefit ng gusto nito? And can you give us a comparative study, yung before composting and then during composting, kung nagkaroon ba ng pagbabago sa yield, sa harvest?
Answer that. It was not supposed to improve the yield, the primary purpose. The primary purpose is you have free fertilizer. Kasi pag ikaw gumawa ng fertilizer mo, libre yon. Kasi ito comes from kitchen and garden waste. So yung parang ito, imbes na itapon sa landfill yung kitchen and garden waste, ginagawang fertilizer. Kasi ito, experience namin 20 years sa Las Piñas, we, all our kitchen and garden waste, which is 50% of the waste, we compost into fertilizer. And because of that, we don't throw the 50% of our waste. So ngayon, tapos nire-recycle yung plastic waste, we save 300 million a year from throwing away garbage.
Tama po yun.
Oh, so the ano here is yung libre yung fertilizer. Tapos malinis yung bayan mo kasi you don't have to throw away the waste. You recycle the waste.
Kaya nga, di ba, libreng fertilizer. So sana, dahil may fertilizer, gaganda yung yield ng harvest, right? Versus kung walang fertilizer. Ngayon, nabigyan ng
Would like to answer. Okay.
Yeah,
go ahead, sir.
thank you very much, Madam Chair and Senator Tulpo. The use of organic fertilizer is actually part of our recommendations in improving the yield of our rice. So it's part of the balanced fertilization. So it's not just using purely organic. So for example, Madam Chair, Mr. Senator, in our recommendation, we recommend at least 10 bags of organic fertilizer in addition to the use of the rice straw that is already in the field. Then you can also add additional inorganic fertilizer or biofertilizer. Now, the significance of using organic compost is that it has other micronutrients that are not available in inorganic. In inorganic, you have only N, P, and K at most. Whereas in organic fertilizer, you have the micronutrients like magnesium, sulfur, zinc, and then it also enhances the soil quality, the water retention, and then the sustainability of the rice farming in the long term.
Itong composting po, fertilizer, ginagamit niyo po to sa palay?
As part of the fertilization
Sa palay.
sa rice.
Okay, sa rice. Hindi ho angkop dapat to. Kasi patubig yung sa rice, lulutang po itong compost.
Hindi sir. Kasi they have to be composted properly. If you just use the the rice straw or the waste material without composting it, then it will float. But if it is properly using those composting machines, it's properly composted.
Okay.
And then it is degraded, then it is incorporated properly in the soil.
So do you have study to...
Use it in vegetable also.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with vegetable kasi, Madam Chair, yung information na tanggap ko, hindi bagay. Sa vegetable, okay ito in composting. Pero pagdating sa rice, hindi. Dahil sa rice, patubig yan. So, nandun yung possibility na lulutang to, itong composting.
It's part of our recommendation, Madam Chair and Mr.
Rice, because they told me that compost with animal manure is very suited for rice. Can we call field rice now?
Yeah, this is actually what I'm saying is part of the recommendation of field rice, Madam Chair. Jan?
Madam Chair, Mr. Senator Tulfo, sir. Opo, yung ang kalahatan po natin siya tignan, bahagi po yung napoproduce from the composting machine, yung organic fertilizer. Sa rice po, isang paggamit nito, sa pagpupunla po ng planting material, sa seedbed pa lang, ginagamit siya. Para yung pong mga seedlings, kasi po yung kakayahan niya na gawing mas better yung soil, madali mong bunutin yung seedlings sa practice po sa rice, bago mo ita-transplant. Pagka po gumagamit ng organic fertilizer. So ito po yung ngayon po yung tanong nyo na nakaka-contribute ba to sa yield. Mahirap pong i-separate kasi yung ano ba yung na-contribute niya dun sa total yield. Pero sa practice po talagang ginagamit yan ng ating mga farmers. Even po sa field rice, sa ating mga experiment stations po ginagamit.
So meron ba kayong studies nito na angkop na angkop talaga ang composting sa rice?
Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, I would just like to give you an example. Do you remember in one time in Kadiwa at DA they were selling rice at 25 pesos? That those cooperative are using purely organic. They're not using inorganic. They're using organic fertilizer and biofertilizer. and their cost of production, because of they only use organic and biofertilizer, their cost of production is such a level that because the co-op also do the milling, the drying, they were able to sell it at 25 pesos just early this year and late last year. So that is how they were able to reduce their costs. And this is actually one of the technologies that we are scaling in our proposal, Madam Chair, in that agro, we call it Eco-SRI. This is purely organic way of raising rice, of growing rice at a yield that it is still good for farmers who have limited resources. So that is the target of the Eco-SRI, Madam. Do you
Okay.
still remember the one clustering that we have in the proposal, Madam Chair?
Thank you for that answer. Now,
Pong farmer na nakakabenta sa Kadiwa store ng 25 pesos per kilo, their cost of production is 8 pesos per kilo sa Nueva Ecija. And I'm glad they're using this organic fertilizer for that. Kaya malaki ang tulong kasi hindi nabibili ng fertilizer. Tapos malaking bawas sa gastos yung pagbili ng fertilizer.
Yes, Madam Chair, and we want to scale that in bigger scale because the challenge always in the Philippines, Madam Chair, is that we demonstrate it, but then we don't do it in scale. So that's why in our program now, we want to fund it and do it in larger scale with more farmers participating, more cooperatives participating.
Paano mo binibili?
Um,
Baka katulad ng fertilizer may issue. How do you go about buying the
Okay.
composter?
Thank you po, Madam Chair. First of all, yung question po tungkol sa does it increase yield? Definitely po it increases yield. Because just this year, 2023, we have a nationwide program all over the country on the adaptive balanced fertilization strategy. We have several protocols po depending on the target yield. And most of our demonstration is the
teka muna,
target yield
Doctora, if I can interrupt. Sabi mo, nagkaroon ng increase sa yield.
Yes po.
So meron ho ba kayong comparative study nung before composting and then during composting? Ilan
Yes.
po yung na-increase na yield?
Yes po.
Kasi kung sinasabi niyo po nag-increase yung yield, bakit number one importer pa rin tayo number one importer na tayo ngayon ng rice? Na-overtaken pa natin yung China.
Yeah, so that is the very reason po why we have to scale up and the very reason why we need to make use and intensify the distribution of our CFBW, our composting facilities, because it really helps. Meron po tayong mga data to
Kasi kung pag-uusapan natin yung yield ng rice para mabawasan ang ating importation at para makatulong sa ating mga farmer, okay ako sa composting. Pero hindi kaya mas maganda kung gumamit tayo yung urea, yung fertilizer na para mas mabilis yung yield sa production?
Okay, sir. Thank you po for that question. Actually, yes, truly that the requirement for rice and other crop is high, and this should be sustained by the use of inorganic fertilizer. But over time, we are damaging the soil because with the use of compost, we are improving the quality of the soil. It enables the nutrients to be stored in the soil. It enables the water to be stored in the soil. Pagka pure urea po, para tayong nagtatapo ng fertilizer, pag ini-apply po natin sa lupa, kung sobra pang pagkakalagay, it will go to the groundwater. At hindi naman po lahat ma-absorb ng crop. Subalit kung gagamit po tayo ng compost, this will be slowly available at the right time na kaya namang i-absorb ng crop. Kaya po yung adaptive balanced fertilization strategy, meron po kaming protocol. During the land preparation, doon po natin ini-incorporate ang compost. Then yung pag-apply po natin ng fertilizer, we do it at the right amount, at the proper time, and at the proper location. Wala pong maaaksaya. So
Okay.
that's the reason po kung bakit tumataas ang kita sapagkat wala pong naaksayang fertilizer, and at the same time, over time, long term of use ng ating compost will really save on fertilizer. Naka-store na po, may residual effect. For the next season, ma-achieve po natin
Ma'am,
yung pabawas.
napahaba na pong ano nyo,
Ay, sorry
explanation.
po.
Anyway, let's put it this way.
Next time po, sorry,
Thank you po.
Senator.
Other countries
Sabi
like
ko kasi,
Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia, they use urea. I'm sure they're also concerned about their soil.
Madam Chair.
I asked the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization kasi 38% ng soil ng Philippines degraded. And I asked them, how do you solve the degradation of the soil? Their answer is compost all your waste and bring them back to the soil.
Madam
That's
Chair.
their answer.
Yeah.
So
Madam Chair, actually, Madam Chair, Senator Tulpo, one of the things that has kept us from attaining higher production is actually the limitations that we are encountering with our soil. And when I was looking at the different interventions that we have, we've been providing hybrid seeds, certified seed. We also provided fertilizer, urea, or inorganic fertilizer. And yet I was asking my colleagues, how come our yield is still at 4 tons per hectare, national average? So if you look at it now, you look at the data of the Bureau of Soils and Water Management, our soil are already degraded. We cannot just keep on adding urea, using urea or NPK, because there are now other micronutrients that are limiting our productivity. That's why in the Masagana Rice Industry Development Program now, Madam Chair, Mr. Senator Tulpo, we are implementing nationwide, large scale, not just the demonstration anymore, demonstration of peel rice or BSW or large scale, the application of balanced fertilization. And this recommends the application of organic fertilizer or compost as basal, and then the use of biofertilizer that will help get nitrogen from the atmosphere and from the soil to reduce the use of inorganic fertilizer. So if you use biofertilizer, you use organic fertilizer, you reduce the use of urea, which is sometimes very expensive, which became very expensive, especially last year when the price of urea went up to 3,000. So we want to maintain higher productivity by also maintaining good soil health, Mr. Senator and Madam Chair.
So, dalawang issue na lang po, Madam Chair. Now, let's move on. Dito naman po sa Similia, sa SAGE, yung RCEF, Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. Meron kayong tinatawag na inbred program at meron kayong hybrid program. Tama? Ang inbred program, ang yield niyan, average 4,000 to 5,000 metric tons, kilograms. Okay. Versus sa hybrid, double the amount. So, bakit pa tayo pupunta dun sa inbred program na kalahati lang ng hybrid program ang ni-yield sa production?
can I answer that, Senator Tulfo?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, because I wrote that Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. And yung inbred seedlings po natin made in the Philippines. It was discovered by Phil Rice. Ang maximum niyang yield is 6 metric tons per hectare. And it costs 38 pesos per kilo. Yung hybrid seedlings po, lahat yon imported. And it costs 250 pesos per kilo. And ang yield po niya is, sabi nila, 8 to 10 metric tons per hectare. And para mo ma-achieve yung 8 to 10 metric tons per hectare, you have to have a lot of inputs na the poor farmers cannot afford. Kaya kami, sa poor farmers, we recommend the inbred seedlings kasi made in the Philippines at ang nagsusupply nito ay co-op of Filipino farmers.
Understand.
Yun. Kaya, at tapos, kung wala kang masyadong gagastahin sa inputs, okay sa'yo ang inbred. And then, kung mayaman ka na, you can buy expensive seeds and you can afford higher inputs, you use hybrid.
In addition to the explanation of the Honorable Madam Chair of the committee, Senator Villar.
Kasi di ba,
Yeah. Let me
Yusek,
explain
no,
further.
let me explain. Tapos na yung explanation.
Yung
She
additional,
explained on your
Why?
behalf.
Yeah.
Ako naman.
okay.
Kasi nga, Yusek, for me, logic tells us na kung itong hybrid nag-yield ng more production, double ng inbred, almost double. In fact, ito nga si Danilo Bolos ng Nueva Ecija, nakakapag-produce siya using the hybrid program, 15 metric tons per hectare. Yung Syngenta, la Pioneer SL variety, it can produce 10 metric tons per hectare or more versus sa inbred na 4 to 5 lang. So if we're after high yield para mas marami tayong production, mas marami tayong harvest, edi dapat mag-concentrate sa hybrid.
That is correct, Senator
Right?
Tulpo.
O bakit pa meron pati itong inbred program na gumagastos tayo ng bilyones dito?
We have 4.8
Kasi mas
million.
maganda gumastos na lang tayo ng bilyones sa hybrid para mas lalong dumami ang ating rice production.
We agree with you, Senator Tulpo.
Thank you.
We have 4.8 million hectares, and the target now is 1.9 million hectares will be for hybrid because we have to gradually increase. And our focus also is to maximize yield during the dry season, where the hybrid performs very well. The yields that you were mentioning were actually during the dry season. And during the wet season, we try to maximize the use of inbred. Because as of now, our inbred can adapt much better during the wet season, where there is a lot of pests and diseases. But there are also hybrids now that are coming up that are also good during the wet season. But nevertheless,
Hindi, kasi may mga studies na yung hybrid is adaptable sa weather na pagdating sa mga ulan.
that is also true, Senator Tulpo.
Hindi, huwag kayong iiling-iling.
Yeah,
No, I don't like that. Huwag kang iiling-iling. Para bang pinagtatawanan mo kami rito. Don't
that
do
is
that.
true.
Don't ever do that, please. You're being disrespectful. Para bang, don't do that. Baka gusto mo, ikaw ang tatanong-tanong, didiinin ko rito. No, I'm not. I'm serious. This is serious matter. We're talking about kapakanan ng mga farmers dito, and yet tatawa-tawa ka pa. Don't. Natiwala na ang pinag-usapan dito, and you're still laughing. Hindi na nga masagot-sagot ng mga kasama mo, and you're still laughing. Don't do that, Yusek Sumbilla. Thank you.
Can I continue, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in our strategy, we are combining these two, inbred and hybrid. But as of now, most of the areas are still using inbred because we have also to adapt our farmers. We started promoting hybrid in 2000, year 2000, Mr. Senator. And it was difficult for farmers to adapt because of, as the chair said, the cost requirement is sometimes higher because they have to use more fertilizer. And our farmers do not always have that resource to invest in hybrid. So gradually, there are more and more farmers going into hybrid. That's why this year, our target is 1.5 billion
Yan ang
hectares.
ibig sabihin. Mag-invest kayo sa hybrid
We are
program.
investing.
Dahan-dahan na kayo umalis sa inbred.
That's correct.
Because konti lang ang yield ng inbred eh. Am I making sense? So, alisin nyo na itong inbred.
If you're an accountant, ang inbred seed is 38 pesos per kilo. Ang hybrid seedlings is 250 pesos per kilo. 38 over 250, it's ilang percent lower yon, di ba? So, minamaximize din natin yung pera natin. Plus, tong hybrid, to produce that amount, you have to invest a lot of inputs na which the poor farmers cannot afford. So, bibigyan mo sila ng hybrid but they cannot afford the inputs.
Kaya nga nandiyan po yung
Hindi
gobyerno.
perform well yung hybrid.
Pero, kaya,
Parang yung hybrid is for yung kaya nila yon.
Yes.
The inbred is para dun sa wala naman silang masyadong amount for inputs, 'di ba? Kaya kami kino-combine namin. Parang there are 42 provinces na gumagamit ng hybrid, ng inbred, and 15 provinces na gumagamit ng hybrid. In fact, I would suggest if I would be asked that those with money and large farms and they can afford to buy hybrid, they buy hybrid. Oo, that's okay.
Pero
But
kanina,
for those who are poor, cannot afford the hybrid seeds and the inputs, then it's okay kasi 6 metric tons is not so bad because ang ating ngayong production is 4 metric tons per hectare, di ba? Pag naging 6 yan, that means it increased by 4 over 6 is 40 divided by 6, 60%, more than 60%. Ang shortage lang natin sa rice is 15%. So if we increase by 60%, we are self-sufficient in rice and we can export. So 6 metric tons per hectare is not so bad. In fact, that was I was talking to Senior Yusek Domingo Panginiban and I was asking him what is ba yung ano nyo noon sa ano yung program nyo kay yung araw na masagana 99, your target is 6 metric tons per hectare that you were not able to achieve, di ba? So we are trying to achieve that. So,
thank you. Anyway,
Senator, pag tayo naka 6 metric tons per hectare, self-sufficient na tayo sa rice and we can export.
right now, tayo po ay nag-import pa rin. Number one importer tayo. But anyway, maganda po yung sagot nyo kanina na dahan-dahan, kayo po ay pupunta na doon sa hybrid program going towards that direction. Kasi nga naman, mas mataas ang yield. So bakit tayo pupunta doon sa mababa lang yield? Pwede naman pala doon sa mataas na yield. Pwede naman natin budgetan para maging affordable na itong hybrid program sa ating mga farmers subsidized ng gobyerno. Tama?
That's correct, Mr. Senator, Madam
Okay.
Chair. This year, it's 1.6
Senator
billion.
Tulfo, there is chismis that the hybrid seedlings we are importing is the reject from other countries. That's why nagtataka ako, bakit may nagrereklamo na ayaw tumubo yung hybrid seedlings. So,
Eh, di
depende
dapat
din sa
kasuhan po yung nag-import ng
depende
reject.
din sa quality of the hybrid seedlings. Kung maganda quality, maganda ang performance, pag pangit ang quality, pangit din
So
ang
kayo ba yung
performance.
nag-import ng reject ng mga seedlings yung sinasabi ni Senadora?
It's the
Dapat
private
makasuhan kung
sector
saan.
that is importing.
Well, then go after those private sector, whoever they are.
Yes. That's why
Tingnan mo kung totoo yung balita.
our program is now promoting local production of even hybrid. Mr.
Mas
Chair.
maganda talaga yung hybrid, right? Okay. Now,
But anyway, Mr. Chair, Mr. Senator, our target this year is 1.6 billion hectares. Next year is 1.9. And then the following year, if you will give us more budget. we will
using
probably-
hybrid
Yes,
program.
Mr. Chair.
Good. Anong nangyari sa ating mga farm school? Ilan ang farm school meron tayo? Kasi sa ngayon, it's a dying profession sa itong farm